Ando, Michael Letsch is on your right. King of Strong Style, Shinsuke Nakamura. Ever heard of him?
Just now.
Good answer.
Yep.
Andy Ferguson on your left. Both these players 5-0, and well, that's not possible. Do you guys know one drop? That's not possible. Michael, what kind of hand did you keep? I want answers. It looks like he has like 7 cards too. I want answers. Here's Night of the White Orchid.
I got blown out by a hand with no 1-drops.
Did you?
In the finals.
Oh
yeah.
God, that sounds horrible. No one? They have like 18 ones.
I believe the first game that Max played against me, it was just a bunch of lieutenants.
He prefers to be called the champ.
You are enjoying this to no end.
Night of the White Orchid is where Michael started. Here's the 3-minute Inspector. I think we're going to have a Thalia's Lieutenant. We are. The real deal. The thing that turns this deck on. Thalia's Lieutenant is absurd.
Now the Aristocrats deck often lines up pretty well with this deck because it can generate a lot of card advantage through the collected companies, Cryptolith Right into Duskwatch Recruiter. It's just so much mana. They generate so many cards. And all the blocking that they do on the way just nets them a bunch of life when they've got a Cutthroat on the board. I
think the trick, if you're Letsch, is you got to get in the air.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all about, I don't want to say it's all about, but it's a lot about Grip Spoon. It's an important card. Here's an Always Watching. Those creatures just got better. He's thinking beatdowns, you have to imagine. Now, what's he going to beat down with? Good question. Anything but Thalia's Lieutenant. So here comes 3-minute Inspector. That's a 3-4. Night of the White Orchid is a 4-4.
Yeah,
collected company.
He was a little wary of that collected company.
Yeah.
He probably would have been willing to just trade the Lieutenant with the Cutthroat, but it's pretty obvious that wasn't going to be what happened here.
Yeah. Top 6 here for Ferguson. Ferguson is just a collected company aficionado. He loves collected company. Here's a Catacomb Sifter and another Cutthroat. This is what the Aristocrats decks like to do. Gum it up. Get some synergies out there. There's your Eldrazi Scion.
Well, and this is kind of the white human's nightmare, right?
Yep.
Like, there's so many efficient creatures. They generate a lot of card advantage, and the white deck just can't interact enough.
The white deck doesn't have a lot of removal. Declaration in Stone, that's it.
Yeah. And like you said, not a whole lot of evasion.
No, not at all.
So they're dependent on drawing a Grip Spoon to get in the last damage.
So Ferguson wants to block here if he does it all. He's got a lot of life to work with. He's at 16 right now. Again, Ferguson, from the Ohio area that really likes collected company decks. He was one of the first ones to kind of find Bant Company early on in things. Had a really good build of that. And helped a lot of players actually move forward with accomplishments with a Bant Company style deck. Catacomb Sifter. Looks like it's going to bite the dust. There goes 3-minute Inspector.
And Letsch chose to take down the 2/3 instead of 2 creatures.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it would have been important for him to get the Cutthroat off the board, but I guess he's also worried about his opponent just scrying over and over to get his best draws.
And actually find the goods?
Yeah.
Let's go Ferguson's way.
But I just don't know how this humans deck wins through double Cutthroat.
I think it's really hard. Especially if Ferguson has another collected company. It seems really, really tough to do. I think he actually does have another collected company in hand, does Andy. He's also got a Westville Abbey and a Liliana. Jeez. There's a Hissing Quagmire.
Yeah, just a bit of everything here for him.
I think that's why I was so surprised when he didn't have a 1-drop to play.
Yeah.
I think it's so important, especially when you're on the play, to get the ball rolling really fast. Here's Declaration in Stone. Well, that kind of answers this a little bit.
Yeah, that's very good right here.
Here comes Collected Company. So top 6.
Yeah, and Ferguson's hoping to hit a Cutthroat here. Not a Nantuko Husk.
Yeah, not a Cutthroat. I think he did find one. That and a Liliana, jeez.
Yeah, this is pretty good.
Yeah, this is getting ugly. Sacrifice that Cutthroat to Nantuko Husk, which means Liliana's going to transform. Also a little drain and gain.
Yep, drain 2, gain 2.
Yep.
It's getting out of control.
Yep. Oh, a zombie. That's fun. Keep in mind that Antuco Husk is a 4/4. Here's a Grip Spoon. And attack for 2, 3, 4, 5 in the air. Take care of Liliana, pass the turn back. Well, there is one positive here.
Yeah, I mean, that was a very good turn for Letsch.
Yes?
And it's still kind of a rough situation for him.
Yes. I'm not feeling great.
Yeah.
The positive is that I've got a good attacker that has vigilance. That's also a good blocker.
Yep.
So that's nice. But this game state, this battlefield is starting to get pretty ugly. And Ferguson hasn't even played one of his Westville Abbeys yet for Letsch to have to think about.
And it looks like he's got another Lily in his hand.
There's Lily.
You know, Letsch has to chump block the Nantuko Husk, like every time.
Yeah, because he could just die. Oof, what's this? An ultimate price?
The Singleton Ultimate Price.
Ah, boy, it must be nice.
Yeah, just running around with one of those bad boys.
Andy Ferguson making it look easy right now. The zombie token coming across, and Tuco Husk coming across.
All right, all the boys.
Yeah, sure. Loam Dry, Eldrazi Scion. Let's do this. If you want to block and kill one of those things, my Liliana's going to transform. Loam Dry is going to be sacrificed, I think, to, yeah, Nantuko Husk.
Yeah.
So this is going to be...
I think Letsch is just dead here.
I mean, pretty close.
Each creature's 3.
Yeah, Liliana's going to transform and makes a zombie.
9, 12, 16, 17. Yeah,
I think I kind of lethal attack. I think I'm right
Yeah.
there with you. I mean, Andy can play it pretty safe if he wants.
Andy didn't do it, but
He might be able to even fireball him out now, maybe.
yeah.
Yep.
He just every way is an avenue to victory here.
Yep.
It's just
When you've got Nantuko Husk and things to do in this Aristocrats deck, chances are you're going to win. That's exactly what Andy Ferguson does. He's up a game here over Michael Letsch. Green-Black Aristocrats up a game over White-Red Humans. So we're going to start with Letsch and his sideboard. 3 Handwear Militia Captain, 4 Reckless Bushwhacker, a Griff Spoon, a Silk Wrap, 2 Stasis Snare, 4 Needle Spires. One thing here, Craig, I don't think the red splash is particularly good in this matchup.
no. The games go a little bit longer, but they're not playing sweepers or anything like that. So trying to back up your spells with Needle Spire and Reckless Bushwhacker is not the way to attack these decks.
Maybe Griff Spoon, Silk Wrap, Stasis Snares.
Yeah.
A little extra removal. I think it's really important for you to have answers to Zilliport Cutthroat and Nantuko Husk.
This is just a really rough matchup. He's got to make sure he gets onto the board fast. But even then, we saw how quickly Andy can just gum up the board. Like, it's just so difficult. Once a Nantuko Husk comes down, you can't attack through that thing.
Yeah, there are like no good attacks to be had. Even if your creatures are big, Nantuko Husk is so good at just dealing with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes it really difficult. For Andy Ferguson's side, 4 Transgress the Mind, 3 Ultimate Price, 3 Jirana, Liberator of Malakir. I haven't seen that one for a while.
Yeah.
2 Thought-Knot Seers, a Nissa Vastwood Seer, a Kalitas Trader of Get, and an Infinite Obliteration. Andy's already got what feels to be a pretty positive matchup. How can he make it even better?
Well, we might see these ultimate prices come in. They deal with any creature that gets out of control. If he's worried about, like, say, the Handwear Militia Captain flipping and just making a 1/1 every single turn, that's a clean answer to that. Like you said, the Jiranas are pretty interesting cards. He can collected company into them.
Yep.
Which we just don't see ever.
Well, I remember when Jirana was released, everyone was just thinking, okay, this card's absurd.
Yeah, there's a lot of hype.
It's really good. It just hasn't found a home yet at all. You know, making something like an aggressive black deck that just did not pan out at all.
Nope.
So now, you know, maybe it fits in a Green-Black Aristocrats-esque deck like this one. We'll see. I mean, because it's the kind of card that's priced to move. It's definitely a really good Magic card. We just haven't seen much of it yet. That's all.
Well, and also I think it has to go into an aggressive strategy because it only deploys +1/+1 counters onto other attacking creatures.
For sure.
So if you're trying to go the aggressive route, you're just better off being some of these other decks with different colors.
Well, that gives you the idea of the options here for both players. Michael Letsch will be on the play for game number 2. Need a 1-drop, Michael. I'll tell you that much. Start off with just Plains Go is not going to work here. As we very quickly talk about the weekly sale with StarCityGames.com ending Monday at 10:59 a.m. We got up to 50% off select promotional cards. Now, Craig, earlier you said you want that damnation.
Dude, I always joke about the weekly sale,
Yeah.
but I actually go each week and I look through it and I usually buy something.
Yeah, the weekly sale's solid, man. Squad, we got Scavenging Ooze, got Faithless Looting, Batter Skull, a bunch of other promotional cards.
Well, I picked up the Emrakul
Oh, that's right, you did.
this week.
Yeah, that's
the
right.
promo Emrakul.
Yeah, that's a good buy.
It looks awesome. It's foil.
Yeah?
It was a good price.
You got those Elvish Mystics?
Yeah.
I'm still confused why you got those, but
You don't like those?
I have no problem with those Elvish Mystics.
All right, so the fans at home know. I picked up a play set of the promo Elvish Mystics.
Yep.
I felt like they were really cheap, and it's something that I can just always have 4 of in my collection now.
All right. Elvish Mystic doesn't appeal to me.
No, but there are decks that pop up with Elvish Mystic in it from time to time.
Of course.
The Elves deck in Modern specifically.
Yeah? Oh, so you're secretly trying to play Elves in Modern. That's what's going on.
Maybe, I don't know, man.
But if you do, you've got Elvish Mystic at the ready.
And they look good.
That's good. That's good. So does this mean that you're a fan of foils?
Sometimes.
Okay. So if you had the option between playing an all-foil deck or just a regular deck, what would you do?
Usually it would be a regular deck. The foils, I think, are cool when they're pretty unique.
Okay.
You know, like the Elvish Mystics have, like, this cool artwork.
Yeah, they're like
with-
promotional ones you don't see very
with
much.
the weird set symbol, the shooting star.
Yeah. All right, I got you. So you just like certain foils. Okay.
No, and we've talked about this before. Magic is so big that there are people who love foils. There's people who love the altered cards, the miscut cards,
Yep.
and all. I actually have an appreciation for all of that. I think it's so neat that two, 3, 4, 5 people can show up with the same list of cards for their deck, and their decks look completely different.
That part is really cool.
Yeah.
Even I would never play miscuts. Not Ailey Cassis over here.
Okay.
I don't like the miscuts. He
Well,
loves the miscuts.
You probably just don't have like $100 million to spend on these cards.
That might be true.
When I see his gem mint miscut volcanic islands,
Oh, best collection Magic. It's not even close.
I'm just like, wow, this. Yeah, like I would have to trade him like my car or something
Yeah.
to have a shot at some of those cards.
It's not even close. Now, you see these players going to lay out 6 cards. Very quickly learn a bit more about Andy Ferguson, number 13 on our SCG Tour leaderboard. He's 26 from Cincinnati, 4 open top 8. Still looking for that win, though. Avid baseball fan, has been to almost every park in the National League. He's going to Georgia Tech, so not too far from here. And he says that the Cincinnati-style chili is the best style of chili, Craig.
I would have difficulty arguing one way or the other against that.
Yeah. Well, Cincinnati-style chili, if memory serves, has no beans.
Okay.
And if that is true, I could be wrong about that, but I'm sure he's referring to Skyline chili, then I agree with him, because beans are horrible.
You made a comment earlier about a burrito having beans and it just not being good.
Beans are terrible. And I've tried. So I've actively tried to like beans throughout my life because everyone eats beans. Everyone who goes to Chipotle always gets black or pinto beans. All that stuff. I can't do it. Beans are awful.
This is one of the things that I like about you,
What's that?
is that you can just be so adamant when you're definitely wrong.
Yeah, it's a skill.
Yeah.
It's a real skill. Like for a very long time, as here's a Griff Spoon on a Council's Lieutenant, and so Michael's giving the beatdowns here this game. This is the difference between having a 1-drop and not. Blister Pod's on blocking duty, so there's no Drowsy Scion.
Well, it's more than just having a 1-drop here. He was able to buff his 2-drop.
Oh, I mean, his start's just great.
Get in from the air. But anyway, you were saying.
For a very long time, I did not like guacamole. For the first 28 years of my life, I did not like guacamole. Tried it a bunch of different places, thought it was disgusting.
Sure.
One day, after I went to the gym, I went to Chipotle, and they brought out a fresh tin
Yep.
of guacamole that had not been aerated or anything.
Yeah.
And I'm in line, I go, all right, give me some of that. With the complete chance that I ruin my burrito bowl. I've been eating guacamole basically every day since.
The fresh guacamole is so delicious.
Unbelievable.
When it starts to get brown,
Not great.
that's when you're just like, why would people do this?
Well, then it's just a race to eat it.
Yeah, you just put brown slime on top of my meal. Like, I don't need that.
Here's Thais Lieutenant. Got to buff up Incited Rabble, Council's Lieutenant, and Kithian. This looks a little bit more like what Humans is trying to do.
Yeah, this is the draw right here.
Yeah.
I believe Andy missed a land drop. He's had a pretty anemic draw here.
Yeah, this is what I like to call the blister pod draw.
Sure.
Not great.
This is not what the deck is looking to do.
Not great, no. Blister Pod's going to get in front of Kithian. A bunch of damage is going to be dealt. We're going to also see a transformation of Kithian into Gideon in just a moment.
I believe at least 9 points came through there.
That's a healthy amount. It's going to go up to 5. That Scion will be the target. Means that the Scion's going to have to attack. And now we go back over to Andy Ferguson. Another blister pod. He is what I like to call blister pod flooded.
Rich. I like to refer a wealth of blister pods.
It's quite a few of those. Blister pod sometimes looks really good. What I like about blister pod is that when it looks good, it looks really good. And when it looks bad, it might be the worst card in Standard.
The heavy blister pod portfolio does not always accrue the value that you would hope.
No, it doesn't. Oh, feeling it. Get in there. I guess it has to attack.
Hiya!
Yes. Get in down to 4. Values Lieutenant, no interest in blocking.
I bet Andy wishes he had a more diversified portfolio right now.
Yeah, I think I would agree.
He does have 4 mana at his disposal.
Here's a Dragon Hunter. Thalia's Lieutenant going to get a little bit bigger. Follow up, Griff's Boon on Thalia's Lieutenant. And Gideon is live.
I think he's just way too far behind at this point, but we see the collected company coming down.
Yeah, I mean, Letsch knows it's coming. We all know it's coming. It's going to have to be really good. It's not good enough. Michael Letsch is going to win game number 2 here against Andy Ferguson. White-Red Humans, Green-Black Aristocrats getting ready for game number 3. That was another one-sided one.
Yeah. And we see in this game how Letsch is able to get the Griff Spoon onto one of his bigger creatures, and it's a problem. If Andy didn't bring in the ultimate prices before, I expect them to be in now.
I think they almost have to come in. But,
yeah.
More than anything, I think that just shows the power of Humans. When it's curving out, doing its thing, Griff Spoon's involved, it makes it pretty easy to win.
Well, the opponent got stalled on 2 lands and just didn't do anything else. So a lot of decks in the format look good when the opponent just has 2 lands the entire game.
That's definitely true, but that's the kind of deck, and I think that's some of the appeal to Humans, where if the opponent stumbles and fumbles, they lose.
It punishes them. Yeah. Yep.
One thing you guys didn't see at home, as these guys are going to shuffle up for game number 3, is that Tom Ross is up and walking around with a match slip in his hand, so that means that he's 6-0.
Unless he's just a nice guy. He's like, hey, I know I lost, but I'll turn in this match result slip for us.
I got to guess he's 6-0. That's my best guess.
That's where my money would be, too.
My best guess.
Yeah.
He is 6-0 here with White-Red Humans as well. Michael Letsch inspired by Tom Ross, playing a very similar deck list to Tom this weekend. Now, Ferguson's going to be on the play. You think those alternate prices might be coming in now?
His deck generates his card advantage through collected companies, Cryptolith rights. I think he can afford to give up a few spots to play a few more ultimate prices.
Okay. Keep those blister pods in. Maybe let a couple of them go.
Maybe let a couple go.
Maybe old blister pod. These players are going to shuffle up for game number 3. See what they're playing for here this week. And outside of playing for 6-0 here in Orlando, first place, something Andy Ferguson's been looking for on the SCG Tour, is $5,000, 30 SCG points, and an invite to our next Invitational.
It's no joke.
He's been a finalist before. That means he's walked out here with $2,000, 25 SCG points, and an invite to our next Invitational. We'll see him in New Jersey at the Season 2 Invitational later this year. You can see top 4, top 8, top 16, so on and so forth. Players looking for SCG points to qualify for the Players' Championship. Players looking for cash because cash is cool. And looking for an invite to our next Invitational in New Jersey last weekend in August. You'll be there casting some spells.
I'll be there.
I'll be in the booth with Patrick Sullivan and the gang watching you cast some spells.
Yeah, maybe I'll have a blister pod rich portfolio at my disposal.
Maybe some foil ones, weekly sale. See that? They could be. It's not a promotional item yet, but it could be.
I was going to say maybe that's next week's sale.
Maybe. Just a sale on blister pods?
No,
that's it.
Green Black Aristocrats cards.
That's it.
Weekly sale.
Yeah. A Duskwatch recruiter there for Ferguson. For Letsch, he has a 3-man inspector. That means he has a clue. And now he has a Hanna-Rare Militia Captain. Ferguson wants to take a look. We can do the same. We don't see this card a lot in Humans, mostly out of the sideboard.
Yep.
But it's pretty good. It's not hard for it to transform and start pumping out some clerics. Well, you see it's a 2-2 at the beginning of your upkeep, not the end of turn, like some transformation triggers, but at the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 4 or more creatures, which includes itself, transform Hanna-Rare Militia Captain. But it just wants to trade right now.
That's a surprising trade to me.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, without Cryptolith right, the Duskwatch recruiter is kind of anemic, and the 2-2 human has the ability to get much bigger through various Anthem effects in the white deck.
Well, here is a Knight of the White Orchid. So a plane's on the way. You saw Ferguson with a Catacomb Sifter. Let's just have another land. Looks like he got 2 lands in hand. There's a plane. It's got a Battlefield Forge in hand. And now this is a Declaration in Stone, yes. It is. So, clue token on the way. And now 3-man Inspector in for 1. Ferguson, no blocks. He's down to 19, but Letsch's first damage is dealt on turn 3.
Yeah, and his board is not very impressive. Which is all the more reason to keep that 2/2 on the board.
Yeah, that's the kind of card that can kind of turn around this game.
Yeah. If he's going to lean on Declaration in Stone and doesn't have a whole lot going on in his hand, he's got to keep as many resources on the board as he can. So if he draws Always Watching or Thalia's Lieutenant, these cards become real threats.
Ferguson, just going to pass the turn back. Man, probably has nothing to do.
Probably nothing with 4 mana at his disposal.
A clue on the battlefield, just fresh out of stuff.
Yep.
Land number 5 here for Letsch. That's a Plains. You saw him start his turn by sacrificing a clue. Dragon Hunter. Thalia's Lieutenant.
Man, you know what would be good right now?
What's that?
Militia Captain.
Might be okay.
Yeah.
Might be okay.
That's all right, though.
Would have liked to see that stay around. I understand the fear of Duskwatch Recruiter, but if my opponent is kind of pumping their mana into that, I think I might be okay with that. Maybe. But, there's also the fact that Andy could have just gone, attack, take, you take 2, all right, pass, transform, now my creatures are cheaper. Maybe he was a little bit scared of that.
Yeah, the Duskwatch Recruiter is a scary card. Both sides of it create a powerful utility effect for this Aristocrats deck. But I just feel like there's a lot of value in having the Militia Captain on your side of the board.
And this is certainly scarier because now Nantuko Husk and Zillipore Cutthroat have shown up. Both these cards together lead to a lot of wins for Ferguson and his deck. And they were very, very good in game number 1. Ferguson is down to 16. He's also got a clue token. Only 3 lands right now for Andy.
And we saw Andy, he had the opportunity there to get in front of that Knight of the White Orchid and then cash in one of his creatures to make the Husk bigger.
Not interested.
Not interested, yeah. He still has a very healthy life total.
There's Cryptolith, right?
That's pretty good here.
Yep. This is where things get a little bit scary. Cryptolith Flight's such an explosive card. Such an explosive card in this deck. Expedition Envoy here. That's a human, so Thalia's Lieutenant will become a 2/2. And all Letsch can do is simply pass the turn back, I think. No, this is attack with everything. Okay.
Yeah, that little hand swipe was, they're all getting in there.
Okay. Which I think I'm good with.
Yeah, the mono white deck, the white-red humans deck, as we're calling it, it can't just pass the turn, especially when the opponent's just deployed Cryptolith Rights.
Yeah, it's just one way.
You got to get damage in or make trades to keep the board as clear as possible at this point.
Yep. And also, by with this attack, you're essentially just killing a Zillipore Cutthroat.
Yep.
But it's pretty important to kill that.
Yes.
Because it's so good against humans.
Well, the Cutthroat's off the board, and it's 1 less mana at his disposal.
Yeah. Nantuko's going to tap for some mana thanks to Cryptolith Right. There's Ultimate Price taking care of Thalia's Lieutenant. Cutthroat will be sacrificed to Nantuko Husk. That makes it a 4/4. The White Orchid is simply a 3/3.
Only 2 damage is coming through this turn.
Yeah, it's not great. I agree with what Letsch did there. I think you have to do it.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's definitely the play, but, Andy had the Terror, and the Husk is always going to eat one of your guys.
Oh, see now, and I was talking trash about old Blister Pod.
And now you can keep talking trash about it.
It's here now.
No, this is where it shines.
Yeah.
With a Husk and with a Cryptolith Right, it just looks really powerful.
Yeah.
For 1 mana, it does everything this deck wants it to do a lot of the time.
Yeah, there are some spots where it doesn't look so good, but there are some spots where it looks very good. Oh, man, nothing to do again for Ferguson?
That's pretty unlucky.
It's bad luck.
Yep.
Letsch will draw another land.
Yeah, that's a beating, drawing all of these lands.
Yeah.
That's the danger of playing a deck with, without card selection, without a lot of high-end spells.
Yeah.
And like we said before, he has no choice. He's got to keep attacking.
Yeah, even the Expedition Envoy, I think, has to attack. Like, I think that he's in the spot where I have no choice. I have to serve him with all my creatures and just hope.
Yeah.
Hope that you whiff with Collect a Company, which is extremely unlikely.
And Andy's making the block that I would make here.
Okay.
He's going to cast the Collected Company. If he hits something that generates a 1/1 token, he can cash into the Husk. If he were to whiff for some odd reason, the Husk is still trading with the opposing creature.
Well, he did not get close to whiffing. There's a Blister Pod, there's a Catacomb Sifter. There's a lot of goods in there. So there's a lot to like right now. Scion on the way.
It looked like there was Duskwatch Recruiter in there as well.
It was in there too.
I'm a little surprised he didn't think about that card, just because with the Cryptolith, right, he's going to have a lot of mana at his disposal.
Blister Pod will be sacrificed, Nantuko Husk, Scion on the way. Also get to Scry. Looks a lot like game one now.
Yeah, well, and we get to see all these little synergies, which generally they're just good. When they all come together, it's just so powerful.
Yep. Down goes Dragon Hunter. Pass the turn back Will Letsch over to Ferguson. Ferguson's untapping. And in a moment he will be drawing. Westvale Abbey.
Will be closing up in the next few minutes. We have 2 spots remaining in our final Commander Pod of the night, and 6 spots remaining.
Didn't think he was going to have too much difficulty closing out this game, but this makes things easier.
Please come see us at
That'll be a land for the turn, yeah.
Yep.
And here's a Blister Pod.
And he can transform that right now if he wants to.
With ease.
Which it looks like that's what he's going to do.
I think he's considering it.
Maybe he's just getting in the red zone.
Yeah, I think, just making an attack instead. Expedition Envoy's a 2/1, so no real good blockers. And no good blocks. So over to Letsch we go. Oh yeah.
We're not giving up.
What, giving up?
Fighting the good fight.
There's no quit here.
I quit.
You wave the white flag here?
Yeah, this is...
Council's Lieutenant, your turn. It never ends.
That clue finally gets sacked.
We might be going to Ormondal. Might be that time.
It's possible he says maybe there's a Stasis Snare over there where the opponent sat with cards in his hand a lot of the game.
Yeah, I haven't seen my opponent's hand.
Yeah, he just doesn't need to.
Yeah.
5 p.m. standard challenge players.
Ferguson with an alternate price in hand.
Are posted on pink paper so in stage.
This is ultimate price. Down goes Council's Lieutenant.
Standard challenge players, pairings are up.
Beatdowns. Yeah, I like the beatdown approach here.
Yeah.
Like not moving it with Ormondal because you don't really need to.
Yeah, there's no point in taking any risks.
And Tuco Husk going to get blocked by Expedition Envoy. Blister Pod will be sacrificed.
Ooh, those blister pods just paying off dividends in a big way. Yeah.
They get a Scion.
So much value.
And Envoy down. Yep. Land of War Waste is the land for the turn. All right, Michael.
Well, and this just looks so unfair. It's almost inhumane to have Michael keep playing this game. Like, I understand from his side that he's going to keep playing.
Yeah, of course.
But each of his draws are going to be so low impact at this point, even if he draws a spell for every turn.
What do you think about that?
He got one.
Declaration in stone.
Yep. He's right back in it.
Yeah. Get that N2 Husk out of here. See if this resolves.
17. Commander 17, your event is ready. Please come up.
I can appreciate the fact that he's keeping up appearances.
Yes. Well, like I said, if I was in this match, I would keep playing. But looking from the outside, it's just like, Andy can just kind of do whatever he wants. And Letsch is just kind of left to watch him do it.
Ferguson thought briefly, should I sacrifice my Nantuko Husk because I get a scry with Catacomb Sifter, or try to let it resolve?
Then it's in the graveyard. It can be returned with Liliana later if he wants to.
But he instead let it get exiled to get a clue.
Yeah, the extra card seems good here.
All right, sacrifice the clue. Draw a card. Looks like it may have been another Catacomb Sifter. Letsch will keep passing. And draw. Didn't get a great look. Beatdowns.
I'm surprised that Letsch attacked last turn.
I mean, the race isn't in his favor.
Yeah, he's forcing a race that he can't win.
Here's Catacomb Sifter.
Oof.
It's not getting any easier.
It's a few Scion on the board.
Untap. And draw. Didn't get a great look at it. Oh, yeah.
I can appreciate this last attack.
Did you play on?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Listen, I got the best of you.
Yeah, you play on. I love it.
I got you to chump block with your 1-1 for no reason.
That's right. Andy Ferguson gonna win this match over Michael Letsch. 2-1. Green-Black Aristocrats will take care of White-Red Humans. And for the Cincinnati, Ohio native, he is 6-0 here in Orlando.
Yep.